Coming into your fourth Army-Navy game, what's been your biggest takeaway scheming and coaching against Army in the first three games that you're there for?
Well, I think the one thing I've taken away from these academy games is you got to be careful not to outthink yourself. The most important thing for our guys in that environment is that you take as much of the thinking process out, as much of it as you can, so your kids can go play fast. They don't have to think too much. And I made a mistake in the past of maybe have a little bit too complicated of a plan at times, and all that does is slow our guys down. So the important thing is, obviously, we got to be prepared for everything, but we want our kids to be able to go play fast and fly around.
Coming off the stretch of games you had at the end of the season, preparing for those offenses, is it helpful for you to have had this extra time with your defense to really focus on Army's triple option?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, play in a very different league, offensively than what we see when we play the other two academies. So it's to have the 3 weeks is really big. The first week being a week of some rest and some preparation, and then having 2 full solid weeks to get ready for them is extremely important. We've played this game with a week to get ready, and even 2 weeks sometimes doesn't feel like quite enough. So it's been we've had a good amount of time to prepare and feel good about where we're at, and yeah, it certainly is helpful.
And finally, what have you seen from your defense in practice in the lead up to the Army game?
Well, same thing I see from every week in practice. They're fired up, they're dialed in. Obviously, this game is extremely important to us, and it feels a little different for sure. But our guys have prepared as well as we could ask them to prepare, and they're excited about the challenge, and it gets ramped up a little bit, obviously, these couple of weeks.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Phil Bergman.
Coach, as a D coordinator, how fun is it to get to go against the triple option offense?
I enjoy it. I love it. It's stressful, these games, but they're fun at the same time. Before I got to Navy, I was at Kennesaw. We were an option team there, and so I've always enjoyed scheming and going against it. I think it's old school football, at its finest, and so to me, it's a lot of fun.
We were talking to Will earlier, and he talked about limiting the little mistakes. Just how key is that in a game like Saturday?
Yeah, it's everything. Every inch matters. Every play matters. In a game like this, when points are hard to come by, typically, one little mistake, getting your eyes in the wrong place one time, not fitting your gap correctly one time, can lead to a big play that can be, ultimately the difference in the game. So everything matters. Everything's important. Got to have our eyes perfect. We got to fit things perfectly. Really no margin for error.
And lastly, you've known about the Army-Navy game for years, but now that you've gotten to be a part of it these last 4 years, just what newfound appreciation do you have for this rivalry?
I don't know if it's newfound now. I just, since, the last couple of years, obviously it's always look forward to the game, always look forward to, the pageantry of it, the environment. I understand how important it is to our players, how important it is to our staff. And so, I'd never been to an Army-Navy game before. I coached my first one in 19. So maybe truly didn't appreciate it, obviously, until that point. But just an awesome thing to be a part of. It's a humbling experience, and just really, really fortunate to be able to coach in it.
Thank you.
Wags.
Coach, this is the fourth time that you've game planned against Coach Davis. You've watched all sorts of Army offensive film in that time. Do you feel that you get to know the personality of your counterpart, the offensive coordinator, a little bit when you've spent this much time game planning against what they do in particular?
Yeah, certainly a little bit. I'm sure they feel the same way, about us. They do a nice job every year adding new wrinkles and making changes and adapting to their personnel and who their playmakers are. We'll always see a new wrinkle or two when we play these guys, maybe more than that. So it's great to have 3 weeks to get ready, but at the same time, it's a little bit maddening because you chase a lot of ghosts. You start to outthink yourself a little bit, second guess yourself a little bit on certain things you're doing sometimes. And so I wouldn't want a week to get ready, but sometimes you feel like you'd rather have a week to get ready because you drive yourself crazy a little bit. But yeah, I think he does a great job. I think their offensive staff does a really good job of always changing it up when they go against us and giving us some new wrinkles. And we'll have to do a great job of seeing that during the game and adjusting and making sure our players understand what they're trying to do.
I was reading somewhere that here toward the end of the season, Army's had success with running more off tackle. Are you seeing that on film in some of the games down the stretch? And exactly what does that mean? I mean, I know they have one offensive tackle who actually got injured in the Army Navy game last year and did not play in a lot of the game, but he's a good one. But are you seeing that at all?
Yeah, I think they've had some success, on the perimeter, like you said, off tackle a little bit. But I don't think that's any different the last few weeks than it has been, for the most part of the year. I don't think they've changed a whole lot. I think they're really good at what they do. They know who they are, and I don't see them changing a whole lot, going against us.
And they employ a tight end now, and it's both in a block as a blocker and as a receiver. Is that something you have to be aware of? I don't really remember them utilizing a tight end too much, unless I'm forgetting something.
Yeah, no, they always have. They'll do both. They get into 31 personnel with the tight end in the game, and then they'll take them off the field at certain times. And they'll have the 3 running backs and 2 wideouts in the game. But yeah, they've always used a tight end a decent amount.
Last but not least for me, what about these 2 big fullbacks? I mean, they're bruisers, 260 pounds. They're different. Is it a case to where your guys got to strap it up a little tighter when these guys are, I think Will Harbour just said, they're downhill runners?
Yeah, I mean, they're the big boys. You can't let them get going a little bit. You got to make it ball bounce east and west. Everything starts with the B-back and the quarterback with them. They're a load. So if they get going and there's a lot of weight behind those pads. So we're going to have to do a great job in the interior of controlling the fullback for sure. If they can get the B-back going, and it's typically a good day for them. So that's where it all starts. So we got to do a great job there. Thanks, Bill.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Coach, when John Marshall's getting free and making sacks like he has in the last few weeks, some things I guess that probably we don't see as you do. What does that mean about the players around him, how well they're playing their positions when he's able to do that?
Well, we talk about assists, a lot around here, and, guys doing their jobs so somebody else can make a play. And that's certainly the case a lot of times with John. The guys around him doing their job allows him to make a play. And then there's times when he's doing his job and somebody else makes a play. It's all about 11 guys doing their job. And within our defense, some positions typically are more productive than others. And John's kind of reaped the benefit of that. Obviously, he's playing really well and done some great things. But when you have 11 guys doing their job, there's certain guys within the defense that typically get most of the production points. But we can't assist, just as much as we do tackles and sacks and all those kind of things. And so, but no, the guys around him are doing a great job, and he's played at a really high level the last few weeks in particular.
How gratifying is it for you at the end of the season in these last few practices leading up to the final game to see the development and progress over the year of your younger players that are really getting it now?
It's great. Those guys, we had a lot of young guys play a lot of snaps this year, and it's awesome to see those guys grow and continue to get better every week. And I think, they've got to continue to do that, over the course of the rest of this week. I know they all came out to work last week, and so it's a work in progress always, get better at the fundamentals and those kind of things. But I think the understanding of the defense piece is the biggest part, where you see the most progression throughout the course of the year, especially with those younger guys.
Great. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Phil.
Coach, outside of an opening season game, have you ever gotten to experience having 3 weeks to prepare for a football game before?
Just in a bowl game, but the only time, but never, during the course of the regular season, have I had 3 weeks. I think during the COVID year, we might have had a game or two canceled, but we didn't know those games were going to be canceled, so we were preparing for another team. So outside of a bowl game, Phil, no, this is the only time.
What's it like? Do you enjoy it?
I do. I enjoy it, but at the same time, like I told Bill earlier, you tend to drive yourself a little bit crazy. You're ready to go play. So while the extra time is good to get ready and make sure you're prepared, this is a nerve-wracking game, you know. And so I'm ready to go play it. I know our players are too, but it's good to have the time for sure.
I know they're not a big throwing team, but when they throw, the Alston kid is pretty effective. Is that something you got to be wary of? Eventually, they're going to go to him.
Absolutely. You know, they've hit a big pass play on us every year, and it seems like when he does throw the ball, there's a lot of big plays that happen, and so we got to do a great job of, you know, not getting lulled to sleep, getting our eyes in the right place. And like I said earlier, you know, one mistake in the back end, getting our eyes in the wrong place can cost us big time. And so I always have to be ready for the play action pass, the boot, whatnot. But he is very efficient when he does throw the ball. Doesn't throw it a whole lot, but when he does a nice job of finding the open receivers and getting the ball.
And with regard to the quarterback, what do you see out of Tyler?
I think he's a really tough kid, very good athlete, hard runner, effective thrower when they ask him to do it. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good player. He's been in that system for a long time. I think they trust him a lot. I think he's a warrior, and he'll compete.
However, they have used Jamel Jones. I don't know if they use him every game or kind of how these utilized, but do you have to be prepared for a change of pace quarterback?
Yeah, you know, our game plan probably won't change a whole lot, Bill, based on the quarterback that's in the game. It'll be more situational than anything. Both good players, both do some things really, really well. Obviously, we want to be aware who's in there. There are certain tendencies when one quarterback or the other's in there, but it's not going to change our plan a ton.
What is the physical nature of the last three games for you guys meant coming into the Army-Navy game? I know this is such a physical game, but having those games to really go up against some of the most physical teams in college football.
Absolutely. It's been great, I think, to prepare us for what's going to be the most physical game of the year, always, you know, regardless of the records or, I guess, you know, the status of the team going to the game. These games have definitely prepared us mentally, I would say, just as much as physically, for this game. So it's been great playing these great opponents, like you said, sir. And I think we're getting better mentally and physically each day from that.
Take us behind the scenes of practice the last couple of weeks. What's it been like out in the field once you came back from your break, now getting ready for Army?
Yes, sir. Coaches kept his same big key thing with preparation. Preparation is key. Each day, you know, we come out, drop everything we're doing before, and we step on the field. It's time to focus on the task at hand, and that's to get a win this Saturday. Mentally, physically, we're stretching after practice, everything we can do to win this Saturday.
And do you notice a little difference in intensity being at the Army-Navy game in practice for some of your teammates, their last practices of their college football career?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Intensity's ramped up. Everything's ramped up in excitement, but all of our coaches and each other, we don't want it to get too out of hand. We definitely stay focused on, you know, just doing the small things correctly, I would say. That's really going to be the biggest thing to this game, just doing the small things the best way we can.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's go to Phil Bergman.
Sam, we've gotten to playing this game before. What is so special about the Army-Navy game to you?
That's a great question. To me, sir, I would say just thinking about how long this game has been played and the people that have put on the same jersey I put on to play this game, people that's gone before us to play this game. When you really think about that, it's almost overwhelming just because it is really a blessing, I would say. Other than, you know, it's a football game. We played several football games this year. I think that's the difference in this game.
We've talked to coaches about this, but as a player, there's so much adrenaline and energy and excitement going this game. How'd you keep your levels check on the field playing in such a big stage in front of so many fans?
Yes, sir. I would say, you know, just thinking about the guys around us, thinking about each other. You know, we're all, everyone has their, you know, nerves and anxiousness, but we all know what we put in to prepare for this game. And like I said, just each day leaning on the guys on my left and right definitely helps us cool each other down during the game.
And Sam, personally, for you, I think this is the first time we've talked to you this year. What can we know about your style of play out there on the line? Where have you improved this year?
Yes, sir. I would say, being blessed to have the opportunity to play most of the season, I've definitely kept my composure later into games. Staying consistent, not getting too tired out there, but getting more physical as the game goes on, learning my opponent as the game goes on, so I can beat them different areas late in the game, and also just being a great team player for the offensive line.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Kareem Copeland, Washington Post.
Hey, what's up, Sam? Ooh. Oh, no, I'm unmuted. Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing, sir?
Good. Quickie, you talked a lot about prep. As you've watched their defense over and over and over, what stood out the most about them as you've been getting ready on your prep?
Absolutely. I would say, especially going back to the first question, in the last few teams we played, this team is going to know our offense probably the best. They're going to be probably the most better prepared, I would say, to play against our offense, since it's such, it's an academy game. And so with that means we have to be even more detailed and more, I would say, almost perfect on our side of the end, because they're going to be more prepared on their side of the end than the teams we played this season.
Kind of a random one for you. I want to ask about the uniforms, just kind of your thoughts of seeing them this year. Do you guys get hyped up for those? And you watch college football and you watch sports, there's so many different iterations of uniforms and jerseys these days, but what makes the ones that are made for this game every year special in your mind?
Absolutely. I personally love the uniforms this year. We've been wearing the helmets this week, and they're amazing. I think getting the opportunity to get a special made uniform, each year is a blessing. And not many teams get that in college football. In fact, a lot don't. So to me, I think we always look forward to it. We always try to guess, at the beginning of the year, it's going to be these colors, this style. But, it's always amazing seeing it when the equipment team reveals it to us.
Cool. That's perfect. Appreciate you.
Sir, thank you.
Bill Wagner.
Sam, how many reps did you get in this game last year, roughly?
Yes, sir. It wasn't a whole bunch. I was on a package. I would say it was under 10. It was a single digit, but each rep was, I remember each play for sure. Yes, sir.
Can you talk about the challenge of now being out there for a heck of a lot more plays, and you're going to be instrumental in whether the Navy wins or loses this game?
Absolutely. And so I would say my role in this game is, definitely amplified. Like you said, I'm more than excited to be able to participate and, just being able to go each play, one play at a time down the field, like every game. But this game, offense is going to probably get, offense and defense roughly 50 snaps a game. So it's also be another memorable game of each and every play. So I'm just excited to get to that.
Can you talk about the challenge of moving Army off the line of scrimmage? That's the key to this game is always who wins the line of scrimmage. And, they're going to win some, you're going to win some. But in the end, the team that imposes its will and wins the line of scrimmage is going to probably come out victorious.
Absolutely. That is the truth right there, sir. Like I said, we've come start practice each day with like a goal line type style play, just moving people off the ball, because that's what we're gonna have to do. Like you said, each play going down the field to win this game, and we understand they're not gonna lay down, and they're gonna try to push us off the ball, but we're coming to the mindset that we can do that for the whole 60 minutes of the game.
One, as Scott alluded to earlier, you've played the offensive line in particular has played much better down the stretch this season. Why? Where do you think you have improved? Why do you think you have improved? Is it just guys getting experience and gaining some chemistry amongst each other? Just your thoughts on how the offensive line is playing at this moment. Absolutely. I would say all those things go in hand. Mostly, I would say it's been our practices each day. The last month, I would say we've just going to practice with a better attitude, better mindset each day, and I think that's gotten us better. Especially, it's gotten us better the last few games. Just having some confidence in each other as well as in ourselves has played a big role in that as well. Sam, what kind of teammate is Jamie Romo, and what has he meant to you guys this year, even though that he's seen limited action actually in games?
Absolutely. Jamie, like a brother to me personally, amongst most of us, especially on the offensive line. Hearing his story and getting to know him more last couple of years. Jamie and I roomed together all last year on the road. So, Jamie, it's definitely been unfortunate not having him with this necessarily on the field as much, but he's, been the same guy here and out, in the locker room, in the huddle, on the sideline. So that's the thing we love about him the most. I mean, he's going to be supportive however he can. He's going to be ready as well. And very thankful for Jamie Romo.
Does it help you mentally just being able to focus on football, knowing all of the stuff that's around the Army-Navy game, having traveled to the big stadium and done all the different events and all that sorts, having been there and done that, now knowing what that's all about, so maybe you can focus a little more on your task at hand in the game?
Absolutely. I think having that experience definitely doesn't turn into like a deer in headlights for me this year. Just being able to focus on football, playing the game that, we practice and put our helmets on for every day. Don't get me wrong, it's still, amazing just thinking, the things that surround this game. But at the end of the day, we got to get ready to play a 60-minute football game.
When you and your teammates were growing up, before you ever thought you'd be going to the Naval Academy, was this a game that was on the radar for kids growing up?
For me personally, no, sir. From Columbus, Ohio, so the big rivalry game I knew was Ohio State versus Michigan. And so after, knowing about this game and playing in it, I understand that this game, is much, much bigger. It's much, much bigger than, myself and just all of us playing. So very thankful and blessed for this opportunity.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Phil Bergman.
Sam, Coach Peterson, what type of an impact has he had on you all this year?
Yes, sir. Coach Pete's been amazing. He's brought amazing energy every single day. A whole, I would say, just a new style of mind on the offense as well, as I've gotten to learn it more myself. He's been great, and each day, like I said, his energy is probably the biggest thing that pumps all of us up and keeps us all awake.
And lastly, I was reading your bio. I saw you're a former chess champion. Is that correct? How did you get into the sport of chess?
Yes, sir. So my dad was a chess coach in Columbus, inner city Columbus. And I was young, second grade. He ended up teaching me, and we traveled to some chess tournaments. There was a couple big ones, one at the Bingo Stadium, and I was able to win some games, and I got to play against a grandmaster as well. And so I've always stuck with chess. I kind of think sometimes try to put football in chess terms. It's like kind of like a mind game, and certain moves. So yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wags.
I think Kareem went before me last time, but that's okay.
Sorry.
I'm writing about the patches, and you're wearing the VF86 Sidewinders. Apparently, it's in recognition of your sponsor's brother. Can you kind of tell me a little more about the story behind that, Sam?
Absolutely. So my sponsor parents, amazing people, blessing. My sponsor brother actually currently deployed on an aircraft carrier out of Norfolk. I don't know where he's at right now, but that is his squadron's patch. And another fun story, one of his buddies who graduated from here actually designed that patch. My sponsor brother got it changed through his chain of command to what it is now. So I asked my sponsor dad if I could wear it for him this year, in honor of him, and we got it done. So I'm very excited to see what it looks like on the jersey.
So can you give the names of your sponsor dad, your family, and who is the person serving that you're representing with the patch?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. My sponsor dad name is my sponsor brother name, who I'm honoring, is Tyler Alger, and his family's name is the Algers, and that is who I'll be wearing it for. Yes, sir. Sorry.
In terms of going back to Army's defense, what have you seen from them? The Air Force game is probably a really good indicator for you all, particularly about how they play the option. They did hold Air Force to a fairly low number, points and yards wise. What are you seeing out of the Army defense? And when I was talking to their coach Monken, he said that their nose guard, their tackle, has been playing really well.
Absolutely. Like I said, they definitely are very detailed when it comes to academy offense triple option. So we definitely understood that they know what they're doing coming to this game. They understand, the things that we may throw at them to throw them off. So that is why we got to be even more detailed on our end. I would say, they're going to be physical. They're going to play probably harder than any other team we played this year. And so that is the biggest thing we're taking away from their defense so far.
The last season, I mean, on that first drive when you all punched it in and Ty scored the touchdown with the guys all kind of pushing them in, that really sent a message. I mean, I think that was a real psychological boost for you and also showed that you were not going to be denied. How important is it early on to do something like that, where it's like a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1 and you basically win the line of scrimmage and get the first down?
Absolutely. It's a momentum changer. And especially for offense, it's huge, I would say, in the past, and having struggled moving the ball, getting even just a little bit of space, an inch, a foot, a yard, however much it is, it's a momentum changer for the whole game. And it's a confidence boost for our entire team, defense and special teams included.
Kareem.
I've just got a quickie for you. We were talking yesterday about Xavier and his growth since kind of being thrown in the mix. And I'm curious, I want to ask from your perspective, what have you seen, since he's, been thrown back into the lineup, not just on the field, but him as a leader also?
Absolutely. Xavier, this is not his first time playing this game or, leading the team. He played when he was much younger. His growth has been tremendous, and it's been a confidence boost to the offensive line big time the last several weeks. And the trust that he has in us, it helps us play better, helps us play with a freer mind, and helps us play faster, I would say. He's an amazing leader. He he's a great speaking voice, and we have a lot of trust in him to lead us into this game.
That's what Ken said. He said, it's a little bit different when you're the number 2, kind of being able to speak out and just kind of the impact of your voice. Have you seen that kind of go up another notch where he's kind of really kind of taken control of being a leader of that offense?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I would say it's definitely been amplified in the last few games as he, led us down the field and he's against these tough opponents. Like I said, his confidence is growing each and every day, and it's been amazing to be a part of. And I'm very excited for this weekend for Xavier.
How fired up are you to play in this Army-Navy game, having missed it last year and not having had the opportunity to play last year?
I'm super excited. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. One of the reasons I came to the Naval Academy, so I'm extremely excited to go out there and play Army.
What is so unique about this Army offense that you guys look at? I mean, you see a lot of different offenses, but what's so unique about them that Coach Newberry works so hard with you guys to prepare for?
They're a very dynamic triple option with a lot of really good athletes. So it's going to be, they're really good offense.
Now, Coach Newberry talks about really working on eyes and how important your eyes are. Can you explain what he means by that, what he's teaching you guys, especially when you're playing an Army option team?
Yeah, so you got to read your keys. You got to have your eyes in the perfect spot on your man, really, and you react to what they do. So that's what he means by you got to have perfect eyes.
Thanks.
Phil Bergman.
Will, kind of following up on Scott's question, how much did you know about the Army-Navy game before coming to Navy?
That was one of the biggest things that got me to the Naval Academy. I mean, it's the Super Bowl of college football rivalries.
To play in this rivalry, the Super Bowl of rivalries, just as a player, just what is this moment going to be like?
It's amazing, it's a moment so big, but you can't think of it as a player like that. You just gotta think of it as a bigger game, obviously, biggest game of the year, but just gotta breathe.
And then having this 3 weeks off, just how beneficial has this been for the defense to kind of not just rest, but also get back from injuries, ailments that the team's been facing?
Yeah, it's been really good, really good opportunity for us to recover and get our legs back under us for this game.
Thank you.
Wags.
Will, they have a couple really big bruising fullbacks, Riley and Buchanan. They're both 260. What, can you talk about the challenge of stopping these big bruising fullbacks?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good runners. We're gonna run downhill right at you. Not gonna try and make you miss. So I mean, they're great players. We haven't played anybody that 260 this year, so it'll be fun.
They always talk about this game being played in a phone booth. It's both teams are gonna do what they do, and you know them so well. They know what you do. You know what they do. Can you talk about the challenge that's in front of your defense with having to try to stop this very potent triple option rushing attack?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, they're gonna be in a phone booth. Phone booth can't make small mistakes. Gotta have our eyes on our keys and play the best we can.
What have you seen out of the quarterback Tyler for Army?
I mean, he's a great athlete, a great player. Great in the run game. He can throw the ball too. So great athlete.
And then last for me, real quick. I mean, Diego played huge in this game last season. I know you looked up to Diego, consider him somewhat of a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
The inside linebackers are crucial in an Army Navy game. Can you talk about the responsibility that falls on your shoulders?
Yeah, I'm just listening to what Coach New and Coach Volker tell me to do, and all I'm going to do is do my job the best I can.
Kareem Copeland.
Hey, Will, I want to ask you a couple questions real quick about the uniforms. I guess what was your reaction when you saw these particular and do you guys get hype about getting to see these broken out every year?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love the uniforms. They're amazing. First college uniform with NASA actually on it. There's been a couple other schools with space uniforms, but none that's actually say NASA. So I think that's a really cool feature that we got.
From your perspective, there's a lot of iterations of jerseys in college football and sports and these, but the ones that are created for this game each year, is that kind of unique, different than all of these other ones that you see all the time?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, like I said, this is Super Bowl of our schedule and a lot of games, Super Bowl of rivalry. So just both of us having different jerseys, Under Armour and Nike producing jerseys and making them look fresh and super nice is awesome.
And just one last one on that. We were talking to Ken yesterday, and he said he even uses them as a recruiting tool. Do you remember him mentioning any of that back when he was recruiting you years ago?
Oh yeah, I mean it's something you see as a recruit. You're like, these jerseys are so fresh, and it's something new every year, right? None of them are the same. It's just really cool, and what they're doing nowadays with the different kinds of helmets and stuff we're wearing is incredible.
Perfect. Appreciate you, man.
All right, Scott Wyckoff.
Will, when John Marshall's playing like he's
Can't hear you, Scott.
getting open and getting after the quarterback, how important is that to your defense, and how important is it for you to be able to open up with so much focus on him?
Can you repeat the first part again? I didn't quite hear it.
Yeah, when John Marshall playing at the level he's playing right now, getting so much pressure on the quarterback, and these offenses have to really focus on him, how does that open up things for other guys in the defense?
They're focusing on him a lot, so it gives a lot of people opportunity to make plays themselves. When they're focusing on it, having a guy or two to try and block him, it gives opportunity for other guys to possibly unblocked or be one-on-one and beat their block and be able to get a sack or a tackle.
What's the biggest thing you think that's brought this defense together throughout this season to be so good?
I really think the adversity we've been through, the season hasn't been exactly how we wanted it, but we've just fought. We've continuously fought day in and day out in every single practice and game.
Thank you.
Phil Bergman.
Will, just to follow up on the uniforms, you guys are wearing the helmets for practice this week, getting to actually see the details in person. What's your favorite part about the helmet?
I love it. A lot of people say the astronaut, but I really think the moon side is pretty sick. It's got the stars on it and everything. And the crater and the moon just looks amazing. And I really like the NASA on that side too, how it kind of looks imprinted on the helmet.
Thank you.
Wags.
Hey, Will, you're wearing a patch in honor of Jalen Wade, or I guess it's his Marine Corps patch. Can you talk about why you have chosen to do that?
Yeah, he asked me, he sent me a text message asking if I would wear it. And I was honored because just to represent someone in the Brotherhood, past player. And I'm looking to hopefully be a future Marine one day. So
I'm trying to recall. Jalen, he graduated a couple years ago. You played with him though, right?
I did not know.
Jalen's
Okay.
on staff right now, Wags.
Oh, wow. Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically you've got to know him since he joined the support staff.
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Coach Newberry, and we'll talk to him here in a few minutes, but he always talks about you sometimes have to expect the unexpected in this game. It's not unheard of that the opponent will pull out some wrinkles. Do you try to just prepare for the base Army offense while being aware of the things they might do, or kind of how do you approach that? Because you don't want to, as Coach Newberry says, chase ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're preparing for the triple option. We'll be ready for that, and then whatever they throw at us, we'll react to it, and our effort will be there, and we'll be able to play it. So we'll be ready.